Imagine getting your dream job only to find out that you don't fit in. So I remember my first job out of college. We had to go away the first couple of weeks to a training course. And I remember being there and I said, you know what? This is not what I expected. And I was surrounded by other people and I'm like, they really enjoy this stuff. You know, when you're in school, you're just learning like generic information, but when you have to apply it, it's completely different. You know, you really see what are the activities in the day in the life of this career. And I remember thinking, I don't enjoy this. And I remember asking people, why do people like want to get these jobs, but then like after a couple of years, they can't wait to leave. And they said because when the company's using you more than you're using them, that's when it's time to go. And I started to realize that, the real world, the corporate world, nobody really cares about you. You're there to do a job and that's it. And people want to get experience. They want to get it on their resume to say they work somewhere because it's prestigious. But the idea is the job isn't really, fulfilling or rewarding. And there's no caring. I mean, it's just like you come in, you do your job, you go home. And one thing that I realized too was um, when I worked in the corporate world that came with a dress code. Like we were expected to wear a suit, a white shirt, and fit a certain part. Like we had to look the part. And suddenly you weren't a person anymore. Everybody had to look alike. You had a certain image to project. And then also, they expected us to read certain newspapers. So people would, have their briefcase and they would have it in that little slot. They would have the newspaper in there. They probably didn't read it. But once again, I found it so phony that it wasn't me. And then also we were considered professionals. So all of a sudden now you weren't allowed to bring your lunch to work. You had to eat out. So being a professional meant that, you had to go out to eat, spend all this money. Meanwhile, it was your first job. You weren't making a lot of money, but you were expected to dress the part, to act the part, to look the part, to play the role, to play the game. And it was just completely not what I expected. And also the hours you work. You were expected to, get the job done. And if you couldn't get it done in a certain amount of hours, you were expected to bring work home with you. It was like no one told you to, but you better get it done. And that was something that, I wasn't prepared for either. It's like you had no life. You went to work, you came home, you ate, and then you went to bed and were ready to, get up and go to work the next day. And I was like, wow, this is what I spent 4 years preparing for. It wasn't at all what I expected. And then I remember one of my girlfriends came to visit me, at work. And I remember, we were friends, we laugh, we joke. But at work, it was like, everybody was, professional. And so, it wasn't allowed. And I remember, kind of looking at her and she was all happy and I was not. I was not. And another thing was like the environment we were in. You work in this, building, prestigious building in the city. And I just remember how cold and phony it was. And I walked around the office and saw, the partner's office is the manager's office. And, we didn't have an office because we were out of clients all the time. And I just remember feeling like I was just a pawn. That's all I was. I was there just to make money for the people above me. And that you know, like nobody valued you. You were just there to just get a job done, and that was it. And I just remember feeling so disheartened that, we push people to, go to college and get a degree and get this great job. And this is the great job? I thought, wow, you know, I don't know. The real world was not enjoyable at all. And I spent decades in the wrong career. And I can honestly say, the advice I would give everybody is find out what a day in the life is of a career and see if it's something that you really fit in. I mean, some people do, but with my personality, it wasn't good. So we spend so much time visiting colleges, but we should spend time visiting the career placement department and finding out the type of jobs that it's preparing you for, and go to those companies and see what the job is like. Talk to those people, do your homework, and really see what the actual day in the life is of a career, because most people don't do that. So that's my advice. So comment below and let me know, did you find the right career? What was it like, when you were working? Is it something you enjoyed? And what advice would you give other people?